And we are live on episode 54 of the Red Man Group. I'm your host, Donovan Sharpe. We've got a fantastic show in store for you guys today, but let's go ahead and introduce our esteemed panel for today's episode. Hitting leadoff, it's going to be Steve the Dean Williams. At The Man Mindset is where he can be found on Twitter. If you want to add him on Facebook, search Steve Williams. His website is themanmindset.com, where you will find his dating videos, dating tips, merchandise, and of course, one-on-one coaching. Steve also makes regular appearances on TSR Live as well as the Red Man Group After Party. He also hosts a weekly dating show every Tuesday at 7 Eastern on Facebook Live. Married Red Pill moderator and founder of 4R Consulting, Rian Stone, is going to lay down the sacrifice bunch today. Follow Rian on Twitter at _Rian_Stone. Search Rian Stone to add him on Facebook. _Rian_Stone is where he can be found on Instagram. Be sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel and do not forget to visit ryanstone.com for exclusive content, articles, and videos. Rian also does one-on-one consultations, which can be booked on his website. If you want further support of Rian, you can also become a patron at patreon.com / you guessed it, _Rian_Stone. Hitting third is international man of mystery and Tinderella slut slayer, Carl Black Label Logic. Carl can be found on Twitter at Black Label Logic as well as his website, blacklabellogic.com. Incidentally enough, he cannot be found anywhere else. His latest article entitled Levels of Game dropped this last, I think it was last Friday. It is a solid read, so you definitely want to check that out on his website. Batting cleanup is none other than the godfather himself, Rollo Tomassi, who is also the author of the most influential book series in manosphere history, The Rational Male. At Rational Male is where you can follow him on Twitter. TheRationalMale.com is his website, and be sure to catch him on the Pat Campbell Show every Friday morning at 9:05 Eastern on Talk Radio 1170 in Tulsa. You can also subscribe to his YouTube channel by searching Rollo Tomassi. Gentlemen, it's good to have you guys on this morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
Going on?
Very good.
Nice to have you in the control chair today. This is great. This is your debut.
I am a control freak. I'm a control freak. So let's go ahead and get into the updates here. Rollo, what's been going on with you lately?
Digging out of snow. That's all I've been doing. For the last 11 days, we've had like probably 2 really major storms that have come through the Sierras, and you know how that works out here.
Oh, yeah. I'm
right at the base of a ski resort called Heavenly. I'm sure you are familiar with Heavenly and Tahoe since you used to live out here, but
yeah.
We got the first storm. We got 8 feet of snow here. And then we got some rain that came through and washed a good portion of it away. And then over the last, say, 24 to 36 hours, we got another 6 feet of snow. So I have been constantly out, either shoveling or snow blowing or whatever, just trying to clear stuff out and stay, it's like driving in tunnels, but so that's good. The only reason I bring up the weather here is because it's keeping me from doing a lot of other things, but I'm kind of trapped in the house here, which now I understand why Stephen King wrote The Shining, because that's exactly what I feel like is Jack Nicholson in The Shining. I'm trying to write a book, right? And I'm losing my fucking mind because of all this stuff. But anyways, so I'm still working on book 4. I made a lot of progress recently, obviously, because I've been trapped here. I've been really just doing the same things I've been doing. I've got a few interviews that are coming up very soon. I put out a new blog post that I finally got back into posting, and so there's some new material there for. I don't want to give it away, so you guys can go ahead and read it all you want there. We're putting out more material, I think, for the Patriarchs edition of the 21 convention, which is coming out. And I should also put this out there. I'm not sure maybe if you're aware of this or not, but Anthony changed the dates. He just knocked it 1 day back. So I think we are now 3rd through the 5th, I think is what it is, rather than the 4th through the 6th. I think that's how it works. I'm sure he'll probably correct me on that, but so we have just a minor date change. So in case you are planning on going, believe those are the dates now. You can check that out on the 21. We'll put it in the description for the tickets and all that. But really just plugging along. That's about it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Carl, what's going on with you, man?
Oh, I'm doing a little experiment called finding the most thin-skinned cunts on Twitter. So,
God damn.
Oh man.
And the way this experiment works is I'll halfway drunkenly tweet out like a little slap shot at someone, and I'll see how much of a bitch fit they throw about it. And so far, the vegans are in the lead, but MGTOWs are quickly catching up. And
shots fired.
Girls who fuck guys with wedding rings are quickly developing into a big fight with girls who think fucking guys with wedding rings is the most deplorable thing ever. Tradcons are a little bit behind, but they do have the most annoying responses. So I updated my bio on Twitter because one of them was kind enough to give me a new bio. I'm currently going viral with one tweet, and let's see, I did the levels of game essay. I have a couple more in the pipeline there, and I'm also doing a show with Ryan. It's less of entertainment and more of kind of an intervention for his shirts. But we sit down every week, and I let him know, I like him, I like his content, but, he can do whatever he wants with drugs or alcohol. Or
not making your list,
whatever,
Carl.
but just stay off the shirts. And,
not taking the bait.
More or less.
Not taking the bait.
All right, Steve.
More or less what's going on.
Okay, excellent. Steve, what's going on with you these days?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Man, I'm kind of jealous of Carl, and I'm not going to tell Rollo that I'm wearing shorts today when I rode my bike. Nothing like that. I'm going to kind of leave that alone. But, yeah, I just want to say thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah, what's been going on with us? Basically, I'm getting slammed with, we had what we call a Valentine's Day week, and we started this in January, and we talked about the guys. This is the only weekend of the year where women are desperate and needy and go to singles events. And what we did was we set it up. We had calls, and we told them where to go meet women. We had a very good successful rate on that. Also, other than that, I got to just doing my Tuesday show. Donovan, I'm doing my Thursday show with you, and then we do our after party after this as well. And other than that, I want to show you. Other than that, I've been working on this right here. I did a show, and it's all scribbled, but I've been working. I know, don't judge me, guys. This is crayons and shit, man. Leave me alone.
I love it.
Yeah. So I've been working on this thing, and I'm working on a conversation class to really break down the intricacies of what happens as men, as how you got the 5 points that you need to have when you meet a woman, when you text a woman, when you go on a date, and when you smash. So that's basically what I'm working on right now. But I just want to say thanks, man. And Rollo, it's so warm out here. I'm sweating, dog.
Oh man, you're killing me. It's 20. It's 20 degrees out here right now. Yeah. And that's warm.
So Ryan is in the Great White North. What's going on out there in Toronto?
Well, it's nice to hear Rollo complaining about the Canadian winter he got for one day. That was nice.
Yeah.
We're running about -26 over here, so that's pretty nice.
What? Wait, that's Fahrenheit, right?
That's when your
At
sled
-32, it's the same for both.
Jesus fucking Christ.
But all I could think of, I have to interrupt myself, but all I could think of is Rollo sitting there and like no beanie and no Redman group make Rollo go something.
I know. Here's Rollo.
Yeah, but we did a few things. First thing, I mentioned it before, and it's the Red Pill subreddit was bringing on Purple Pill debate for a little, I'm not sure why, but whatever. It was just as much of a garbage fire as we expected. And it was a nice example of how people really don't argue against Red Pill in good faith. It was essentially just a bunch of slanderous crap and mental mind games. While guys are here trying to articulate their thoughts. If you're bored and you like punching yourself in the dick, I'd suggest you check it out. I think it's still sticky on the Red Pill. On my side here, just did a post New Year's resolutions where I mentioned how a lot of the stuff that we take as our Red Pill mental models are kind of lifted wholesale from women and then adopted to male strategies. That was kind of neat. Again, with Carl. So what started was just a reward for Patreon people who wanted to support me, a little podcast where we talk about this thing. I brought Carl onto it, and Patreon had an error, so we took that one public, and I can't believe how much it's blown up already. Like, it got really popular, so we're doing another one. Time's there. Patreon guys, you're still going to watch it live. Everybody else, I'll throw some polish on it and then put it up afterwards for you guys. I think Donovan threw the link out earlier. If you want to subscribe, get in live on it. It's a smaller group, so we will see your comments and be able to engage you guys a bit better. Not sure what Carl's problem is with a white Henley, but you know, whatever.
Why you got to be white?
Yeah, and then to end that off, just brought out a new video. This one was on making your own homemade ginger ale. I know a lot of guys have problems with my videos for cooking, that they're not keto or absolute cutting workouts to stop being fat. But you know what? If you have to make your own pop from scratch, you'll drink a lot less of it because it takes like an hour. And that's me, just enjoying coffee. And I think by popular request, Carl and I usually have a couple drinks during this thing to loosen up.
There you
and
go.
by popular request, it's going to be rum and coffee.
I like Rollo's avatar there.
That's me now.
Very, very good.
That
Me,
is
myself, I had a great week of shows this past week. I had Steve on for Valentine's Day, and that's actually the episode that gave me the idea for this show topic. I had Kevin Samuels on Wednesday to talk about the fact that black men often use their race to disqualify themselves from competing for what they want in life, work, women, etc. Not to get into it here, but a lot of black men think to themselves, well, the system's against us. And while there may be some truth to that, there's no excuse to just drop out and not compete. I compare black men with this mindset to men who have decided to drop out of the dating market because it's too hard and women are impossible. Again, there are truth to both of those statements, but giving up or checking out, I think we all understand that's not the right solution. Yes, the odds are stacked against men. Yes, the odds are stacked against black men. But at the end of the day, we are men, right? And as men, we adjust. As men, we evolve and we play the hand that we're dealt. We don't bitch and complain at the dealer for dealing us a shitty hand. That's what women do, and we are not women. I also talked about the pros and cons of dating older women. Dev turned 35 this last week, so that gave me the idea for that episode. And finally, on Monday's episode number 406, I talked about how women use what I like to call passwords to bypass a man's red pill awareness or his common sense in order to blind him to a woman's red flag, sort of causing him to make bad decisions, which almost always benefits her while damaging him. I also had a huge announcement. I launched the Donovan Sharpe mobile app on Monday, which is the first of many steps to further insulate myself from getting deplatformed. You can do all kinds of stuff on the app, like scheduling and paying for consults, reading my books, my articles, buying TSR merchandise. I'm sporting the official Kevin and Sales t-shirt. There's the Kevin and Sales coffee mug. It is available to patrons only. I'm not making this available to the public. This is not something I wanted to do, but I think everyone here understands that men who talk about what we talk about, we have to take certain measures to make sure that we can stay on our platforms, and keeping it away from the public and making it available to those who only want and need it. That's one of those measures. So great week here at TSR Towers. Go to donovansharpe.com or patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe to get access to my content. Okay, guys, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to talk about holidays and cuffing season and how women exploit that to their hypergamous advantage year in and year out. And they seem to have a predictable pattern when they do it. And we'll get into that a little bit later with Carl leading that discussion. But let's start off with the holidays. Valentine's Day, of course, was this past Thursday. And of course, we see all the jewelry commercials. Every kiss begins with K, buy her flowers, everything else that tells men, hey, don't fuck this up if you don't want to sleep on the couch. Well, it's obvious now that most women don't deserve the kind of validation that Valentine's Day requires their men to give their women. Otherwise, this show wouldn't exist. One of my commenters called this Validation Day, and that's 100% accurate. So I'd like to put a two-part question to the panel, and I'd actually like to get Ryan's take on this first. Why do men, Ryan, bend over backwards to validate women who clearly do not deserve it? And the second question is how should red pill aware men handle Valentine's Day with their women? In other words, what's the correct way for Joe red pill guy to handle Validation Day?
Oh, it's going to suck because I went first. I'm going to steal that Heartiste link that everybody's got on their mind right now.
Yes.
As far as women who deserve it or don't, guys, unfortunately, don't think of it that way. They just look at, I want that, and I'm going to do really nice things as this covert contract to get it. It's damn ridiculous, to be honest, when you see... And it's the same thing you see in white knights who are trying to defend the women and all that crap. It's just, if I'm acting really nice, if I'm on your side, you'll reward me by touching my dick. And it's sad to watch. And for a lot of the married guys, if they're in marriages of quiet desperation, they fall into... I don't want to call it learned helplessness. I know there's a better term for it, but essentially, like intermittent rewards. So let's say every 4 times you try to sleep with your wife, she gives you a little bit once. It's that weird little dribble of not no, but not often, that actually psychologically makes you more addicted to something. They did a little experiment on this back in the day where it was mice would hit a button to get a food pellet. And if they got a food pellet every time they did it, they would only hit it when they were hungry. But if they got it at random intervals, they used to hit the thing until they gorged themselves. And for their wives that cut the guys off, it kind of taps into that same psychological thing. And then you asked what to do about it. As a great metaphor, buy a comfy couch and learn to like it more than that bed with the cold harpy. You got to be willing to take a loss. If you're not, then you're really not going to get anywhere. And it's just like Rollo said, cardinal rule of relationships. The one who's least invested tends to have the most power in these things.
And usually that's the woman. I was going to say is that what you just described is something that I've actually was one of the reasons I got into, like I double majored in behavioral psychology, is because women have a natural tendency towards what's called operant conditioning. And that's exactly what you've just described as operant conditioning.
That's the one.
Yes. And what's interesting is like, it comes natural to women. They understand that they have a reward that men want. And so they will do what's called behavioral modification. And if you do something, they will give you a treat for it. You'll get, as I've said this before, and I forget who told me this, but that somebody related a story where some chick used to, or some guy's wife used to call it cookie time for good boy, and that's what it ends up being. Yeah, you get the cookie, you get the pellet. The pellet comes out of the chute, and you get it, and you do. And
just hearing it, it's emasculating.
I swear to God.
Yeah, I have been in conversations where like women will say, well, I don't have sex with my husband anymore, or I don't, we only have sex like once a month, which is the definition of a sexless marriage. But like the other women in the conversation will go, well, how do you get him to do anything? You know, as if it's like this most natural thing in the world, right? Because they understand, particularly when women end up marrying beta guys get into those relationships with the expectation that they're going to be in really this operant conditioning kind of marriage, where it's if they do something, if they merit it, then they'll get laid. Now this becomes real. I hate to go religious on you, but this is really interesting when it comes to like religious marriages, because what happens is women are reinforced with this idea that if the guy is doing what he's supposed to be doing, if he's bringing in money, if he's going and fixing the fences, and he's going and taking out the garbage, and he's doing all the chore, like the chore play, or like that kind of stuff, then you know, that sort of builds him up as to whether or not she's pleased in him. And if she is not pleased in him, then God must not be pleased in him. And so you add another layer of this kind of like almost this metaphysical superstition to the sexual process. And so what women will do is they will hold out on their guy, and the guy will wonder, what's wrong with me? Why am I not getting it? Why am I not getting laid? What am I doing that's not right? Because they don't have the, you know, they've always been told that it's this open communication solves all problems. Well, it doesn't solve all problems, because women communicate differently than men communicate. But what happens, I was just about to say here, is as far as Valentine's Day is concerned, understand this: Valentine's Day is all about transactional sex. The sex that you had with her when you first met her at the club, or whenever you guys were you know, just dating at that time, that might have been validational sex. But if you get into a situation where you're like, okay, here's some chocolate, here's a rose, here's some wine, here's a nice romantic dinner, I'll throw rose petals on the bed, whatever you want to do, you know, I'm going to make this as romantic as you can. And what happens is guys end up not being spontaneous about things. They end up being contrived. That's what romance really is, particularly when you're in a long-term relationship. When you have date nights, that's all contrived. That's not something where you happen to be in the right place at the right time, and she was into you and you were into her, and you guys went at it like rabbits, right? That's the memorable sex. I've brought this out before, as I've said that the most memorable sex that you will have won't be on your date night or you trying to make a romantic, you know, impression on a woman. It will be when you have that kind of angry makeup sex after you almost broke up, or you did break up, and it's like, oh my God, I almost lost this guy. That will be more inspired than you making some sort of contrivance. And really, that's really what Valentine's Day revolves around, is transactions.
Carl, what's your take on, what is your, again, it's a two-part question, right? So why do men bend over backwards to validate women who clearly don't deserve it? And how should red pill men handle Valentine's Day with their women? What are your thoughts?
Oh, you're asking the wrong guy. I just I just kind of ignore
no, I
that
asked the right
Valentine's
guy.
Day happens.
There we go. There we go.
Because in my view, Valentine's Day doesn't exist. If she expects me to give her anything on Valentine's Day, she'll be sorely disappointed. But it's a great way to keep the chick in line, because if she's getting too attached to you and she thinks, oh, this is getting serious and he's falling in love with me, and you just ignore the fuck out of Valentine's Day, you don't even answer her text or her phone calls or her snaps. And then if you want to, you can pull out some of the Tate next level text game with, I'm not sure for those of you who saw that on Twitter, this girl was texting him, he wasn't responding, she was sending this long emotional text to him, and he's like, hey, sorry I wasn't responding, been busy as fuck, and she's like, doing what? And you know, he wrote back, cheating.
Jesus Christ. So the answer is ignore it. Big thanks goes out to John T. Campbell with the 1.99, I think that's euros or pounds. I'm not really good with the international stuff. He wants to know, why not, quote, no sex, then I don't fix stuff? Rollo, answer that question. So I think what he's asking, and I think I know the answer. I think this is demonstration rather than explication. You can't tell your woman, well, if you don't fuck me, I'm not going to fix stuff. You can't do that. If she stops fucking you, you withdraw your attention.
Yeah, you just go to your corners is all you're doing. You know, if you're going to go sleep on the couch and she's going to sleep on the bed or whatever, you know. There is something to be said about a takeaway. This is like a pickup artist technique, I guess, it's the art of the takeaway. But see, the thing is like, you have to have actually something that's worth taking away. So in game theory, anyways, the idea is that a woman invests enough in you that you have some kind of intrinsic reward for her, because your attention is rewarding to her. And that works fine when you're in the middle of, like, you know, running game on a girl at a club or something like that. But that doesn't really work so well when you have been married for, you know, 5 or 6 years, and she believes in chore play. All right. And if anybody wants to understand what I mean by chore play, it's this idea that if a guy does more chores around the house, if he washes more dishes or something like that, or if he changes the baby or whatever, that he's going to get laid that much more. And this is endemic of beta male mindsets when it comes to transactions, because most guys, as we know, most guys are beta. Most guys are blue pill conditioned. Most guys get into, people say, well, how did they get married then if they're blue pill? Well, that's what I'm saying, is like, plenty of guys get married and they are blue pill, and they get into sexless marriages, or they get into these transactional sex marriages where it's this trade-off. It's this constant, well, I'll do this, and if I don't, then I'm gonna withdraw my services. Well, that shit doesn't fly when, you know, when the lawn doesn't get mowed and the cars don't get serviced and everything else. Yeah, you could do that. You could withdraw and just be some bum, but you're just going to end up alienating yourself that much more. There's different ways to doing that. And I'm talking about things from a married perspective and a long-term relationship perspective.
Right. The chemistry changes.
Yeah, the chemistry changes a lot. I mean, this might even be a better question for the guys in the Patriarchs, Red Man group. But it's, what do you know? A lot of guys think that they have to keep it fresh. Like, it's this. They believe this line that relationships are hard work. Oh, I just got to work at it. If I just do some more, it's like the horse in Animal Farm, in George Orwell's Animal Farm. I will work harder. And if I work harder, then I'll get more pussy, or I'll get more attention and that kind of stuff. And I think the first thing guys need to do is break themselves out of that thinking or that ideology. I think what they need to trade that off with is learning how to instill passive dread and how to use that and be comfortable in using that. So what I would say is, dump the idea of chore play, dump the idea of transactional sex, and focus on getting your woman's sexual best from her in such a way that she wants to, like, use her imagination, but like get it in such a way that she is giving you her genuine desire rather than her negotiated desire, because that's really all transactional sex is. It's negotiated desire. You're saying, I will perform these behaviors, I will perform these functions for you if you have sex with me. And if you do that, and if that's what defines your relationship, whether it's long-term or a marriage or whatever, if that defines your relationship, women are more than happy to get into that, because all it does is just, it confirms your beta-ness. It confirms everything she wants. Whereas like if you get into a situation where you're trying to instill passive dread, and I'm saying passive, I'm not saying overt, active dread, which can not at first, which can be useful. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm just saying like it's much better if you can instill it subtly rather than like overtly, because then you don't give away the game. And so you've got a genuine desire on her part. So it's like Valentine's Day rolls around, it's not like you had to convince her to go put on lingerie for you. She's doing it already. Right? You don't have to convince her with an expensive meal at a casino steakhouse or some shit like that. I used to see that all the time, dude. Like when I worked for the casinos in Reno, man, fucking A, I could not believe how many dudes would seriously go drop like $400 and $500 at the steakhouses and stuff for like a Valentine's Day dinner, and they go, man, I didn't get a blowjob, or
dude, try to get a suite. Listen, try to get a suite at the El Dorado on Valentine's Day. You're going to be out of luck. BJ Tucker, shout out with the $5 super chat, says Valentine's anniversary is coming up. I'm getting her a bag of Skittles, and I'm still getting anal. Very good. Freelance Ronan with the $5 super chat, which equates to 350 Scooby snacks. Take your red pills daily, overdose often. Copper Penny with the $5 super chat says, thank you, gentlemen. Steve, what is your take on the Valentine's Day quandary, the quagmire? Why do so many men bend over backwards to validate these validate women who don't deserve to be validated? And how should red pill aware men handle Valentine's Day? And by the way, we just made a sale on the 21 convention Patriarch edition. Just got word from Anthony. So whoever bought that ticket, appreciate that. We'll see you there. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, we call that sucker me season, and it starts as soon as
oh boy, here we go.
As soon as Thanksgiving is over, they try to scare these men into, well, you got to give or you're going to sleep on the couch type tactics. A lot of these guys out there, and the problem is a lot of these guys put women above themselves. Don't get me wrong, everybody on this panel loves women, but we love ourselves that much more. And a lot of these guys don't do that. So what happens is all year round, the woman emotionally abuses these guys. They call them names. They yell at these guys. They scream at them. They throw their stuff around. Sexual abusing these guys. Withholding sex to get what she wants. Financial abuse to these guys. Begging for money. If you don't give me the money, I'm going to pout. I'm going to get mad. Also, they do physical abuse, emotional, physical, and all these things to these guys. Then when Valentine's Day rolls around, all of a sudden, these guys feel like it's a reinforcement to go ahead and reinforce bad behavior by getting her chocolates and flowers and balloons and all that other stuff. And the crazy thing about it is they do this to sleep with a woman or go to a hotel and do the same positions that they do in the house. And, they do all that crazy stuff. I'm going to take you to the hotel to do the same positions I do in the bedroom. And when I get sex or when she allows me to have sex. So what happens is with these guys out there is that they are lost. They don't understand. And because of the reinforcement of society through the radio, through the media, through TV and all this other stuff, these guys feel like they have to give. But what they don't understand is they're rewarding bad behavior. They're saying it's okay to treat me bad. It's okay to walk all over me. It's okay to tell me when I can come home. Or it's more like of a mother-child relationship that these women have.
Ooh.
So what happens is, and like I've always said, a lot of these guys don't know the power of their last name. And this is why I always pull out the motherfucking excuse my language. I always pull out the hammer.
Yes, sir.
Because at the end of the day, to answer your question, how can they do this? They've got to learn that they are worthy. Is the woman worthy of these things? Is she worthy of your time? Is she worthy of your last name? Is she worthy of the crumbs you give her? And 9 times out of 10, no, she's not worthy of that. But what happens is the first thing these guys got to do is they got to put themselves first. It's okay to be an a-hole. It's okay to be conceited. It's okay to be arrogant and narcissistic. It's okay to be all those things. But what you don't want to be is that nice guy. Do what she wants. Bend over backwards. Give her your spine. Give her your balls. Because at the end of the day, what a lot of you guys don't know, you ain't the only one giving her flowers.
Oh,
You gotta understand. Valentine's Day, she get the flowers at her job from that other guy. Yeah, I mean. So what I'm saying to you guys out there, man, stop rewarding bad behavior. Get your nuts out of her purse. Get your spine out of the backyard. Attach it and let her know that, look, you need to cook for me on Valentine's Day. You need to take me out because you are honored to be with the thing that you've never been with before, and that is a motherfucking man. That's all I want to say, brother.
Rollo, jump in there, man. What you got?
I was just going to say that I'm just going to back up a few things there. It's like what Steve's talking about is guys getting into these situations where they're constantly qualifying. Most beta guys are always in this, they have this kind of preconception because just as what Steve was saying, is they don't make themselves their own mental point of origin. They don't do that before they get into a relationship, and they sure as hell don't do it when they're within that relationship, because they've bought into this blue pill conditioning that says you have to do this. Like, this is what's expected of you. It's expected. The expectation is sex declines after marriage. Oh, well, okay. Shit. Well, you know how it is, guys. You know, women. I guess we won't ever figure them out. You know, that kind of shit. Guys fall into that trap. But really, what it is again is this. It's operant conditioning. I was gonna say is like what happens, I think, during this time, particularly the holidays, and I don't want to just pick on Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day comes with a lot of expectations. It's funny how women decide that they want to be very independent, strong, independent women who don't need no man until Valentine's Day rolls around. And so what do is like, I think I got some tweet or some story about how women were starting up this thing called Galentine's Day, right? They would get their girlfriend. We're going to get our girlfriends together and we're going to go out to a club and we're all going to just be gals today and drink wine and talk about our feelings, that kind of shit. Like where they want to get together.
Sounds like a testicular cancer meeting for chicks.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, what gets me about that is, and this I don't want to go too off topic, but what gets me about that is like women don't have the insight to realize just how messed up that situation is. It's like men don't want to have anything to do with you. Men don't want to deal. They think it's men's fault. They think it's men's problem that they don't want to have anything to do with women. And the fact of the matter is like you've created this social, intergender environment or atmosphere between men and women where it's like guys, they don't even want to hit you up on Valentine's Day, which is, if you talk to any player, any guy who's, pickup artist, or any guy who's in the game, that's one of the easiest holidays of the year for you to go pick up because they're feeling bad about themselves or thinking that they want to start something new. It's easy. It's low-hanging fruit, really. I mean, it's easy pickings for guys. There's dozens of articles for pickup artists who want to actually, capitalize on women's loneliness at that time. But you got to ask yourself, why are they lonely in the first place? Because they're looking for a guy that they can respect. They're looking for a guy that's going to come in and rock their world. That's going to be somebody who's not going to be the dude that they're going to be the guy that they admire. They want to be the guy. They want a dude. And really, I think Valentine's Day is for women who are in long-term relationships. It ends up being a reminder that they settled on a beta dude, that they settled on a guy who hasn't made himself his own mental point of origin, just like what Steve was saying. Now, and lastly, I have to clarify this is like when people throw out the right around here is when people throw out the story about the Skittles guy, and you have to understand. I'm gonna clarify this for you right now. Okay, the Skittles. Everybody goes, what the fuck is this Skittles thing, right? Well, the Skittles story was actually a post that Royce had done on Chateau Heartiste back before it was Heartiste. I think this was like 2008 or 2009. He told this story about some guy who had multiple girlfriends, and his MO was to give women just like a gum wrapper ring, you don't have to give a woman like a diamond ring or an engagement ring or something like that. If you're the right guy and she's catching like Gina tingles from you, you can make one of those gum wrapper rings, put it on her finger, and that will be more romantic than than you know, giving her a $10,000 diamond ring, right? Because that's attached, that's a transaction, right? Whereas like if a woman gets off on you doing something like just picking flowers and giving her the flowers, that's going to mean more to her, because romance is actually something that's spontaneous. It's not something that you can create. It's something that just happens at the moment. And it's the same thing what he's talking about. He used to give his girlfriends bags of Skittles because that's all he had the money for. We'd give him a bag of Skittles, and that was enough to make an impression on women who were already invested in him at that time. And I think that's what really, that's what I want to sort of punctuate here, is like, is your woman invested in you, or are you invested in her?
Gentlemen, you are watching episode 54 of the Red Man Group. If you want to support the Red Man Group, become a patron at patreon.com/Redman Group. You can also get exclusive access to private Q&A streams for around 30 cents a day. We're also sponsored by Tactical Soap, which will not only increase your penis size beyond your wildest dreams, it'll raise your testosterone levels so high that girls will flock to you without you having to say a word. The 21 Convention Patriarch Edition is coming up in May. Be sure to get your tickets at the21convention.org/patriarch. Again, that is the21convention.org/patriarch. The link is in the description of this video. I'm also going to put it in the chat. Again, that is the21convention.org/patriarch. Shout out to, let's see, Maziim with the £5 super chat, says, sending all my love to you. Still a student, but learning fast. I ignored Valentine's Day. My wife refused to speak to me the next day. Glad I did. Oaktown Finest with the $4.99 super chat says, basically, stop being a simp on Valentine's Day. You guys should do a 21 convention in the Bay Area, and I'll show you guys around my side of town. Very, very interesting. Let's get into the next topic here. We're going to open up the phone lines here in about 15, 20 minutes. There is a period during the year that Steve talked about already called Sucker Me season, which, according to him, lasts from Black Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving, and April 15th, which is tax day. Steve, give the audience a little more, get a little more in depth and explain to us what exactly Sucker Me season is, how women take advantage of the season, and most importantly, how men can avoid it.
Well, the way Sucker Me season works, and again, it uses sex, or it uses the thought of getting sex to get what they want, because everybody knows women are the greatest consumers. So the commercials and media know that on TV we're seen as buffoons and we're seen as idiots, but a lot of people don't have, again, the red pill. So a lot of people sit around and they believe what they see on TV. Every kiss begins with a K. All that crazy. Yeah, he outside with the
good rendition. I like that.
Yeah, he outside with the diamonds and everything, and he gets a kiss. So he reinforces to that guy, okay, well, my wife is angry right now, so how do I solve this? Let me go ahead and do this for Christmas. And then from Christmas to Valentine's Day, she treats you bad, mistreats you, and then the last week, that's when she's sweet, and that's when she cooks and rubs your feet. Then she gets her Valentine's Day gift. Then it skips from Valentine's Day to tax season, because once you get your taxes, those taxes aren't yours. Those taxes are going to go to her, because they're going to be commercials and media outlets pushing the agenda of, bring your taxes in and you can buy furniture for her today. And then they got some woman laying on top of the bed looking all sexy and everything, making these guys think, okay, well, if I give her money on taxes, I get to sleep with her. So what they're doing is they're focusing on the desire and need for sex and the desire and need to be with somebody. They dangle that because you are either going to sleep on the couch or you're going to get in trouble. And that's the thing that scares a lot of guys, because women have reinforced this in a lot of these guys who are not plugged in. A lot of these guys feel like they have to do it. And I'm telling you guys, you don't have to do nothing but wake up, scratch your balls, and look in the mirror and say, what's up, man? That's all you have to do. But the thing is, they don't want you to know the truth, because the truth of the matter is, and this is the real, get your crayons out for this one. If everybody thought like everybody on this panel right here, guys, listen to me. If everybody thought like the guys on this panel, the economy would crash.
That's right.
Because there would be no more flowers. There would be no more weddings. Damn, there won't even be no more dates. And the problem is they don't want the Rollos out there, the Stones out there, the Carls out there. They don't want these guys out there, because with them out there, and the Carls and the Donovans and all the guys in the group, they don't want them out there, because what they're doing is they're taking money out of the pockets of the companies that are utilizing the guys as sheep to get what they want. And that's why it's very, very important to stay in tune, stay focused with this group, and don't believe what you hear out there, because you know what? We are nothing but stories that are told from our parents. And sometimes we believe what they say, and sometimes they tell us to believe what we see. Don't do that. Wake up and be that man.
Woo, solid. Listen, one correction there, Steve. You said the economy would crash if everyone in the audience thought like everyone on the panel. Slight disagreement there. I think the stock on Skittles would probably break the New York Stock Exchange. Little cheesy joke there. Shout out to Copper Penny with the $10 super chat. Says, I shall not be overgiven. Man, first, I'm going to divert here before we get to Rollo for his take on Sucker Me season. Carl, man first with the $1.99 super chat, says, what are the signs that I shouldn't plate a girl? BPD. Now, this may seem obvious, but let's let Carl answer this question here.
Well, the difference between plating and sleeping with. So just simple, you can have a one-night stand with any girl as long as she's hot enough or you're desperate enough. Plating a girl requires some stability because you want a good drama to fucking ratio. I tweeted out a scale. It was the pain in the ass to depravity ratio. So if a girl is completely depraved in bed, she can be a bit of a more pain in the ass. It's kind of like the hot crazy scale for perverts.
Yes.
So I'd say if a girl is creating a lot of drama, if she's boring in bed, if she's very attention seeking, well, like if she blows up your snap already when you've just gotten her off Tinder or you've just started seeing her, she's probably going to be even worse if you get her into some kind of steady situation. So more or less, you're looking at how much of the time spent with her is enjoyable versus how much of an upkeep is she. It's like owning an old car. If you own an old car, if you get to drive it half an hour a year, and you spend, a couple hundred hours working on it a year, you should probably get rid of it or just stop driving it. And it's the same thing with a girl. If you spend 2 hours with her every week, and then you have spent another 10 hours on her maintaining that throughout the week, then she's not a good bet for a plate. She's going to suck up too much of your time. You have to keep in mind, if you're plating someone, you have multiple girls going at the same time. So if all those girls require 10, 15 hours of your time just to maintain that shit, that's 60 hours a week on top of, 8 hours spent with them. So then you're at 70 hours. And if you work a normal job, you're going to be running 60 hours there. So that leaves 40 hours for everything else. So that's just not economical. One reason not to plate BPD girls is just that those situations can get very nuclear very fucking quickly. Oh, yes. So you want to keep your eyes out for bunny boiler tendencies. Watch the movie Fatal Attraction with Glenn Close. If the girl is like that, just stay away.
Good stuff, man. Great answer. Shout out to Azariah23 with the $10 super chat. Says, my wife was corporate since I met her, and reluctantly, I was running a crack house. Now I don't mess with the hood at all, but she keeps finding her way to the hood. Am I wrong for walking away? Ryan, what do you think about that?
I'm trying to parse it first off. I don't get, what's her corporation crack.com or... But here's the thing, and a lot of guys do this. It was common on the Married Red Pill where guys will hear all our stories. They hear about Skittles, man. They go throw a bag of Skittles at their wife when they haven't really worked out yet. And hey, Red Pill, did I do good? And you're just like, what do you want? At the end of the day, all this stuff is about enforcing your boundaries so you can get what you want. If you don't know what you want, then of course you're going to ask 3 random dudes on the internet what they think you did, if you did good or not. So yeah, was she useful to your life otherwise? And you ditched her? Then no, you didn't do good. If she was generally a net negative to your life and you ditched her, then yeah, you did do good. But that's not really my place to say. And one thing I will put on this, and this is why I love the Skittles, man. I've gotten my girl Skittles, taken her to laser tag for Valentine's, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But this year, she's been amazing for like the past 6 months. It's not like the typical military guy where you act like a bag of crap for 9 months out of the year, and then 3 months before personal evaluations are due, you step up your game. No, she's been solid all year. So I told her I wasn't going to get her anything. She gave me the whole sob story of yeah, well, I don't really expect anything from you anyway. It's okay. And then I went and got some flowers. And here's something, and this is the reason I'm saying this. It's kind of off topic, but it's really important for especially you single guys and you married guys who don't know about dreads. I was walking downtown Toronto with a bouquet of flowers, not roses, because whatever. And every time I would walk towards the direction of a girl sitting there on her phone in the middle of her workday, you would watch a girl's eyes light up. And then you could just feel like you could feel her getting crushed as I walked past.
I know.
That's
That's
what
what
I'm
telling you about, man.
dread.
Listen,
Yeah.
isn't it interesting that women who watch a guy with flowers about to give them to some other woman, they swoon. But then when the woman who actually gets the flowers, they have a less spectacular reaction. I think that's kind of
And
erotic.
if the guy would turn over and talk to the girl that was swooning, the girl that was acting like a bitch would probably start acting right.
There you go.
But that involves you being willing to be the bad guy, and most guys want to be the hero.
They don't
in
have the
their story.
balls.
Yes,
No,
because
do not.
because and I'll hit in on the topic here in just a second, but that's because they believe they're preconditioned. They're preconditioned to not want to rock the boat. Like I can tell you right now, there's probably a good 2 dozen, 3 dozen women that are going to listen to this and they're going to go, these guys are assholes, man. I can't believe they're trying to tell other guys to be assholes. It's like, no, that's not what we're saying at all. We're trying
I love the voice. Assholes.
well, but that's the thing, because like there's so many women who already think that guys are jerks as it is, and those are the girls that Ryan just described, right? They're the ones that would really love to get flowers from somebody, but they think that guys are always like that. Well, guys have to be like that. That's required for guys if they want to have any kind of success with women, is to make themselves their own mental point of origin. Women love that guy. They don't love the guy.
I will disagree with you though, Rollo. I think yes, I am an asshole, but I'm fun.
Yeah, but okay, there is that. There is that
shaming tactic thing. Like
I'm a fun asshole.
Well, what the point I wanted to make here is what you got into is rewarding women. Most guys, when they reward women, they reward it because it's a transaction, because it's a negotiation, because they want to say, well, if I give her flowers, I get sex. It's like there's no better illustration of men's sort of deductive, logical thinking. Like if I do A and B, I will get C. Right. And that they want to follow that because that makes sense. That's rational. That's, once again, it's men think instinctual, rational, then emotional. Women think instinctual, emotional, and then rational. Right. So when guys are thinking like that, they think that if they do something, they're going to get sex because they believe the lie. They believe the open communication stuff. But what they don't understand is how rewards work. It's the same principle that women have been using for forever. Right. What did I just talk about? Operant conditioning. Men can do operant conditioning as well. The thing is you only give a woman a reward for desired behavior.
Exactly.
Okay? So
I've ever seen it put, sorry to cut you off, just one quick. The best way I've ever seen it put is that Valentine's Day is a reward. It's not an application.
There we go. Bingo.
That's really good. Well, that's what I wanted to say is like when you give a woman a compliment, it's only a woman who deserves that compliment because she has proven herself to you that she actually has some genuine desire for you. Right? A compliment is a reward. A gift is a reward. So you don't get, like, most guys will get like flowers if they fucked up, right? Like they did something wrong. Here's my flowers. Please take me back. You know, that kind of thing. And so what happens is women begin to associate that gift with that feeling. Right? Oh, he's trying to get back in my good graces again. Oh, you know, and so what did you do wrong? You know, you give flowers just to give flowers, right? And it's like, what did you do wrong? What did you not feed the baby or something? You know, that kind of shit. Like there's something you're making up for. So there's that association that goes along with it. What guys need to do is they need to re-engineer the association. So if she gives you a blowjob and gives you anal one night or something like that, then she gets flowers, right? I mean, because there's your, and I'm just throwing that out there as the extreme illustration, but like if for desired behavior, she gets a reward for that. That's exactly how she treats you. Like you did something, right? You mowed the lawn or you did something around, flip the script. That's what you have to do. Compliments are a reward. Gifts are a reward. And the other thing I wanted to say is Ryan was also talking about this is, if you, and I've said this many times about vulnerability, I think vulnerability is one of the most misunderstood, stupidest dynamics that guys like to throw out there. Like, oh, you need to be a little more vulnerable and she'll love you. No, that's not what it is. Your predominant behavior needs to be alpha. Your predominant behavior, your personality has to be focused on you. Your personality has to be defined by your mental point of origin. so that when you do give a gift, when you do give a compliment, it almost seems like you're being vulnerable, right? I've said this before, is like guys want to think that being vulnerable is like a game tactic. Like if I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and if I wear my vulnerability on my sleeve, women will love me because they all tell me that they want that. No, they don't want that. They only want that when you are valued, when you are an alpha male, when you are your predominant personality is so focused on yourself and so focused on your mission and so focused on anything that's not her, like that becomes the other woman to her. Is like your job and your passions and your whatever it is. She has to fight for your attentions because she values your attentions, right? Because you're alpha. So when you finally give her that gift, when you maybe it's being a little vulnerable, maybe it's some kind of little teeny breadcrumb treat that she gets, she thinks, oh, I drew it out of him, he must really love me because he's like this all the time. And then suddenly he turned and he acted out of character. And he became somebody with me that he's not like with anybody else. And that feeds into that romantic Beauty and the Beast bullshit. Okay. It's like he's Tarzan and the only one who can tame him is Jane. Right. And so she makes him, he's no longer this savage in the jungle, but every once in a while he throws her a bone, right? He rewards her with some kind of like attention that only she gets. And that's what I think guys really need to focus on when it comes to giving gifts, giving compliments, and giving those rewards, is it needs to come from a place of their own self-worth, their own mental point of origin, so that when they give those, they're valued. Because right now, like, what do they say? I think this is in 48 Laws of Power, is like, if your attention is too easily gotten, it's worthless. If your gifts are too easily gotten, it's worthless. If you get into this situation where you're in a transactional nature with sex, with your long-term relationship or your girlfriend or whatever, that become your attention is worthless. And so what happens is she looks for guys whose attention is worth something. And so that's why she ends up looking for Kevin in sales, right? That's why she does something like that. So anyways, we're moving on to,
well, actually, I'm going to read a super chat here.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Shout out to Copper Penny with the $13 super chat, which equates to 910 Scooby Snacks. He says, Phila Alpha Phanthropist with the winky face. Let me get Carl's quick take on the Sucker Me season from Black Friday to April 15th. And then we'll get Ryan's take, and then we'll move on to the next topic and open up the phone lines. Carl, what do you think about Sucker Me season? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, when Steve mentioned that in our Redman group DM chat the other day, I had another kind of epiphany, because, I mean, most of you guys know about bulk cut season. It's like you bulk from about September, and then you start cutting in January, February, so you get lean for summer, and then you bulk up more muscle in the winter again. And girls kind of have a similar pattern, because they have, the alpha summer flings, usually from May until the end of August. And then they have September as sort of a bridge month, and then they look for a more stable beta guy for roughly October until...
He's breaking it down.
until after Valentine's Day, because they want, during the holidays, they want to make sure they have a guy who will get them great gifts. They want to make sure they'll be a guy who doesn't have many other options, because they're going to get a bit fatter with the Thanksgiving meals, all the Valentine's Day chocolates. They don't want to be the girl who doesn't have a guy to kiss on New Year's. They want to be able to have a guy to bring to all the corporate functions and the family stuff during Christmas. That'll make them look good to their family. And, that's not going to be like a 220-pound ripped guy covered in tattoos throwing gang signs at her grandma. So they want to get that kind of the good dude in there. So they have kind of a beta guy in winter and an alpha guy in summer. So girls go on that same bulk cut cycle, because in places where you actually have seasons, so, Florida, California, etc., they're out for this, because girls have to stay hot there all year, because they're in bikinis all year. But in places like New York or Chicago, where they're wrapped up and you won't know what a girl's body actually looks like until you unwrap her from about 7 layers of duffel coats, they can hide a lot of fupa under that duffel coat. Trust me on that.
Oh, my God.
Jesus.
I just learned what fupa meant like 2 weeks ago. I just learned what it is. Unbelievable. Ryan, can you follow that up?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
When I ran game, it was mostly in Victoria, BC, which was always 75 degrees and slight drizzle. It's the same thing. And plus, with my work schedule, I was working midnight shifts. When I was sailing, I was gone 24/7. So I've completely skewed when it comes to seasons or day-night cycles. My game was just, I went to where people go if they want something. Like, for example, you know how Rollo talks about the estrus cycle. Girls want hotter sex when they're ovulating and more comfort when they're not. Well, the way I saw it is if a girl wanted to have sex and she was hot for it and she was ovulating or whatever, she'd probably be at the bar. So that's where I went. So I didn't have to worry about that whole comfort cycle thing. Or if I wanted to, you know, fuck because I had 2 weeks till I had to head off to San Diego or whatever, I would go to the places where women go who want to have sex. So I'm sure that I'm going to be learning more about this than I'm teaching it. So it's going to be kind of interesting. For me, I just play it simple. You go to where people go that have what you want to get. But I wouldn't be surprised on that. I can definitely see a lot of girls with Christmas fat. Although it's Victoria, everybody kind of has
like Christmas fat.
Anyway.
This dude said Christmas fat. Oh my
Christmas
God,
fat.
I love it. I love it. We got Foop on one answer, Christmas fat on the other. Shout out to Jaunty Campbell with the 1.99 British pounds. I think he said men are attracted to the dream, not reality. That is a very interesting statement. Rollo, what are your thoughts on Mr. Campbell's, and we're going to open up the phone lines here shortly, but before we do that, I want to get Rollo's thoughts on that.
All right, I got a quick story for you. I think I might have even told this before, but maybe not on here. I used to have a buddy of mine who was a training partner. His name was Dean, and Dean was really good looking dude. Very, very, I think he was like 6'2" or 6'3", and he used to do like all male reviews, like Chippendales or like, you know, Thunder from Down Under. I think you probably remember Thunder from Down Under and in Reno, right?
All over,
I used to actually promote those shows back there. But anyway, so he used to go and this was back in the day when I'm in my 20s, and he actually says, hey, and you should get into this too. You can make a lot of money. And it was like a once a month thing. And I'm like, I'm not going to get my clothes off for 40-year-old. Well, because most of them,
let's do it.
Most of them were like 40-year-old chicks, right? I mean,
I think he did
some
it.
hot
I think Rollo did it. I think
well, you know
Rollo
what's funny
did it,
is
man.
like he used to be able to draw like his stripper friends, like he had stripper girlfriends who would come out, but for the most part it was like, you know, women who were divorcees and they were maybe in their late 30s or early 40s, and they were there just to get off on it, right? And he told me a secret, and this was like the beginning of really sort of a red pill awareness that I didn't have till then. He said, you can't just go up there and take your clothes off for women, because that's not enough for them. For guys, it is, because guys are just very visual. We just want to see, you know, a naked chick, and suddenly we're ready to go, because that's how we evolved. We evolved to reproduce as quick as possible, to hit it and quit it and get out before the boyfriend came back to kill you, right? That's what we evolved to do. For women, it's different. Women need that story. They need a backstory. So it wasn't enough just to be a really good looking male stripper. You had to be the sexy fireman. You had to be the sexy CEO of the company who's got the suit and tie. And then suddenly he comes home from a hard day of work and he just like rips his shirt off, and, you know, and here's your roses, milady, you know, that kind of that women need that backstory. So, I mean, if you think about it, that's how most romance novels are. They have a guy that's really, really good looking, but he also has to be something else. There's so many more prerequisites that he has to have.
Listen, that is alpha fucks and beta bucks in one. This is why romantic comedies are porn for women. You get a guy who looks like Hugh Jackman or Gerard Butler, looks like an alpha male, but he has a heart of gold. This is what women think that they want.
And they're the only ones that can bring it out in him. That's the same plot line for Twilight. Same plot line for 50 Shades of Grey. The guy is, you know, is good looking, and the other thing is, like, in all of these, the character of the woman could be anyone, and that's by design, because women need to fit themselves into the role of the woman who's being seduced, because seduction requires two active participants. A woman cannot be seduced unless she wants to be seduced.
Very good, like Steve. What you got,
man?
Yeah, I just want to say, before you guys go out and get a woman to buy Valentine's Day gifts for, buy a dog first. Because you guys won't know loyalty until you get a dog. I'm serious. You'll never know loyalty until you get a dog, because the dog is the most loyal thing that you can ever have. And if you don't have one, you won't understand what loyalty is to gauge what she is. But Rollo, like you were saying real quick about the books and everything, what they don't understand, even like the ghosts of girlfriends past. They will take a guy like Rollo or Ryan or Carl, start off all manly, got the woman and all this other stuff. And then some woman somewhere, all of a sudden, Rollo takes off his beanie and he's loving her and he's caring. And he's like, you know what? Forget about the Red Men Group. I want to be with you and live happily ever after and all that bullshit. That's what they want you to think that they want you to be like. Don't fall for it. Get yourself a dog, please.
Excellent. You are listening or watching episode 54 of the Red Man Group. If you want to support the Red Man Group, become a patron at patreon.com/Red Man Group. You can also get exclusive access to private Q&A streams for around 30 cents a day. We're also sponsored by Tactical Soap, which will not only give you a porn star style penis, you will also attract porn star level girlfriends. Imagine that. The 21 Convention Patriarch Edition is coming up, and maybe sure to get your tickets at the21convention.org/patriarch. Again, that is the21convention.org/patriarch. The link is in the description of this video. The phone lines are now open. 914-205-5356 is the number to call if you want to get in on the conversation. If you are outside of the U.S., dial 001-914-205-5356. While we are waiting for you guys to go ahead and call in, let's go ahead and move to the next topic. And Carl actually touched on this a little bit. I'm going to ask him to elaborate here. So Carl made a great statement yesterday in our private chat. And he said that dating a girl on October 15th is stupid. And the reason for that is because it sets men up to be in a serious relationship in just a few short months. And here's how it works. Okay. You start dating a girl in October. Okay. A little over a month later, now you're meeting her family on Thanksgiving. A month after that, she meets your family for Christmas. A week later, you spend New Year's together, and a month and a half later, right, it's Valentine's Day. Now, most men at this point would feel obliged to buy the girl that he spent the most important holidays with a Valentine's Day present. After all, he likes her. They like having, they have regular sex. He's met her family. She's met his, and everything seems to be all right, even though things are moving along very quickly. So he gets her a Valentine's Day present, and all of a sudden, before the guy knows it, he's in a serious relationship, and he's barely known the woman for 4 months without even realizing it. Carl, I need you to explain this strategy to our audience and why women keep getting away with this and why men can't see it.
Well, it goes back to one of the early tactics I learned in pickup is time dilation. And what that means is if you meet a girl, let's say you meet her and you say, okay, we'll grab a coffee. And this is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you grab a coffee with her, you enjoy your coffee for about an hour. If things are going well with her, you're like, hey, listen, this is fun. Let's go grab a beer. You take her to a second place. And then you take her to a third place, and then you bounce her home. The reason you're doing that is you've been to 3 places together. It feels to her like you've been on 3 dates. And, now she's ready to bang because it feels like you've known each other and you've been together spent a lot of time together. And the female version is just what I said in chat. They start dating a guy around October 15th, and then they invite him over, and they're not going to invite him for a Thanksgiving dinner. They're going to be like, hey, why don't you come over to our house and have a Thanksgiving dessert? And he meets all their family. And then that feels kind of serious, but it feels like it will be rude to say no, So they go with it. Then next time they're like, well, we have my office Christmas party. Why don't you come and meet all my coworkers? And he gets introduced there, and then he goes to her place on Christmas, and then they spend New Year's. And it feels like they've been dating for a year, even though they've been dating for like 3 months, because they've spent an entire holiday season together. And then by the time Valentine's Day rolls around, he's going to be set up to get her a great gift. And if she's like, okay, this guy's a guy I can lock down, she'll skip the cut cycle. She'll just focus on locking him down and keeping it going. And they get away with it because it kind of feels natural. It doesn't feel like they're trying to push him through the stages of commitment quickly, in the same way that a girl doesn't feel like you're trying to make her get ready for sex sooner by bouncing her to 3 different locations.
Listen, I love how Carl is very, very succinct with this. Dude, Carl always breaks it all the way down. Rollo, your thoughts on this 4-month gambit that women run?
All right, I'm gonna freaking bake your noodle here. Hang on one second. All right, there we go. Okay, I just put this up here.
Yes, sir.
Check that out. Oh wait, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna because I'm the one that's hosting, so I can make this
you are the
stay
one
up there. Okay.
There
All right. So what I've got here is, this is from a very old post of mine, and it's called Spring Break. If you guys are looking for it, I'll post the link again in the chat if you guys want to see it. This is from a data set that was pulled by this guy named David McCandless. It is actually, I should say, it's from a TED talk that he did, and it says this is the beauty of data visualization, right? So like in this day and age, we have access to like data sets that reliable data sets that we never had before. Like for instance, Carl's book, Gendernomics, right? I mean, we have access to actual statistics about the choices that men and women make in their dating. So like if it's OkCupid, I think there's a book called Dataclysm. What you're looking at right here, though, is a graph of what was it done? It was done by Facebook, I think, for women who are changing their relationship statuses at different times of the year. Okay, and so you can see right here, if you look at what's interesting is if you look at the spring break, like right around the February to March timeline right there, it peaks right around where spring break would be. Well, why do you suppose they would be breaking up with guys right around spring break time?
Why don't you tell us, Rollo?
Exactly. Okay. Well, okay. So let's go through here. That April Fool's Day, for whatever reason, April Fool's Day gets a spike for breakups. Mondays tend to be a higher time for breakups. Actually, I've got the list right here. Say, hey, a big peak right before spring break. Most breakups are announced on Mondays. People like to start the summer being single. People, let's say women like to start, because who's doing this is a question. Who's doing the most breaking up? Is it men or is it women? I would argue that it's mostly women who are doing the breaking up, because women are the primary sexual selectors anyways. People like to start the summer being single, obviously. There's a big peak right before Christmas, but right at Christmas, like the lowest day throughout the whole year is Christmas Day. Okay, because it's just like too cruel. So I threw this out here because I thought this was really interesting. But when you look at hypergamy, it's not just about a weekly cycle. It's also about a yearly cycle. It's also about a woman's, one of the reasons I wrote Preventive Medicine was so that guys could get an idea of what they can expect from women at different phases of their maturity. That also feeds into this as well. So I think that when guys, this is information I think that guys need to have. So if you are at Valentine's Day, there's a breakup spike there. There's a breakup spike on spring cleaning day, as they call it here. If you look where the spikes are, 2 weeks before the winter holidays is also a time that women want to break up. I would argue that maybe that's the time when guys tend to break up a little bit more. I think it was Pat Campbell was saying that he used to have a brother or something who would break up with his girlfriends right before the holidays, and then he would get back together with them after the holidays were over.
He told us that when we were all having breakfast. It was me, you, Devin, and Pat, and he told us that story at the 21 Con. That was
fun. So what I was going to say is, like, you have to understand that there are yearly cycles or predictable cycles for breakups. So if you're in one of these relationships, that might be something that you want to sort of keep under your hat, because that's going to happen. But why is that? Well, here's why. Like, let's just take spring break, for example. Why do women want to break up with their boyfriends right at spring break? Because the potential for them to meet a hotter guy on spring break while they're in Panama City, Florida, or wherever they are, Vegas, where Lake Havasu, whatever, and she wants to explore. I'm going to say this nicely. She doesn't want to hoe it up. She wants to explore her options. She wants to explore, who's out there that could be, they want to make themselves available. So what I should say also is, like, if you happen to be a young man, let's say you're in your 20s or whatever, and it is around spring break, and you happen to be in one of those places, understand that there's a high likelihood that girl who says, I got a boyfriend back home, she probably just broke up with that boyfriend. Right? I mean, statistically speaking, that the women who are at Lake Havasu on spring break are going to be single. They're going to be open to wanting to hook up with you if that is the direction that you want to go in your life. And the other thing is don't look for a serious relationship at those places, because after that is when she comes back and starts to feel bad about herself and for the behavior that she engaged in. It's like this cycle where there's like the short-term cycle where women will go through this ovulatory shift phase where they'll be looking for hot sex right before they ovulate, and then afterwards they're looking for that comfort. They kind of slip into what Dr. Marty Hasselton calls the nesting phase. This also happens throughout the year too, and it also happens throughout women's lives. So there's the short term, there's the micro aspects, and then that goes into the personal aspects, then it goes into the social aspects, then it goes into the macro aspects. And this right here, the breakup peak times, is part of that macro aspects, and it's something that guys need to have a more complete knowledge of.
Ryan, get in there, man. Why do women keep getting away with this? And again, when Rollo,
because men let them.
Right. Listen.
No, don't you dare steal my thunder, you son of a.
Hey, real quick, guys, real quick. Shout out to Chris Von Erich with the $50 super chat. Saying shooting his red arrow. Good work, gentlemen. I appreciate that $50 super chat. My crack mathematics, that's like 3,500 Scooby snacks. Thank you very much, Chris, for supporting the show. Ryan.
That's a bottle of scotch with fucking Canadian taxes on it.
What's that? Brings it to what, like $65, something like that? Something like that?
Yeah, for years. You know what? One of my favorite writers in the Red Pill is a guy called Archwinger. He had one of those battle axe wives that everybody complains about, and he nailed it. Women act as shitty as you let them.
Right.
Only reason, and this is the thing, I can't fault girls for it, as much as I know a lot of the certain unmentionable acronym males communities say women are bad this and women are horrible that and women aren't worth it this. Well, you know what? They're that bad because guys let them get away with it. And you can't solve it. There's going to be thirst. That Pareto principle, 80% of guys are going to be dancing in front of her, doing their dancing monkey game, buying flowers, taking her over to spring break and dropping her off with their friends and then hoping she comes back chaste.
Shit.
All you can really do is set your boundaries, man. If she does like you, and this ties into Rollo's thing about the medium being the message. If she does want you, when people say she'll crawl through broken glass to get you, what it means is she wouldn't dare ruin a good thing. If you let her know the boundaries, if she doesn't respect them, you have your answer. Let's say that this, like I said, I'm really bad with the seasonal thing. So let's say the April Fool's Day, October 15th, take all of that as correct. I don't know. Probably it makes sense. If she gives you any of those signs, then you already have your answer. She wasn't your girlfriend. You weren't her boyfriend. Yep. You shouldn't be letting her take you on dates anyway. I don't like that. Like, as a reward, like sometimes my girl will take me out to something, which is super nice. But I mean, we've been together 10 years. I kind of expect it. But the first month of our relationship, that's creepy. Like, I don't want you taking me out. It's you taking charge. I don't want to establish that you're taking charge in my life for me. And it sucks that she's not going to have a date for the dinner party, but that's not my effing problem. It's not. I think I even did that. Actually, when I first started dating, she hates this story, but it always makes me laugh. It was, I just finished a sale and she wanted me to go to this festival that was in town, like Pirate Days or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. And I just said I was busy. I just sat at home playing Call of Duty in my bathrobe. I just wanted a date of myself and I just didn't go on her date. And I stood her up. I told her about that later, and she was so pissed. She's like, "You had nothing better to do. Why didn't you just come?" I'm like, I don't feel like it.
You didn't make an excuse. And now you've been together.
Yeah. And you're totally right too, Donnie, because like as you kind of mentally accept this aloofness, this being a asshole, but when you're on, like you're playful, you're charming, you're engaging, you treat a girl great when she deserves it, you just distance yourself when you don't. Eventually you start to notice that all this stuff we talk about here goes away. And this is the big problem I find with a lot of guys in the manosphere is once they start getting to this red pill place, is that they sometimes forget what shit smells like anymore because they're so distant from it. And that's why I suggest guys keep writing. Because, I mean, Donnie, you, me, Carl, Rollo, when was the last time you saw half of this stuff that we talk about here? For me, it hasn't been for years. And for you guys, I'm assuming the same, like a lot of the horrible stuff. But you do remember it from when you were single. And you remember from when you were new in your relationships.
See, I'm in a kind of a unique position because of my job, and then also I have a 20-year-old daughter too. So like I still see that. Like I think from the outside looking in. Like if I'm at a promo or something, I can point out which guys are betas and which guys are like sucking up to their girlfriends and which guys are getting play from not just the girl that they're with, but other girls that are around them. And that's one of the reasons why like I'm always like I say like I'm like the Diane Fossey of the manosphere. It's like gorillas in the mist. You know, all I'm doing is watching, you know, behavior between human beings. And sometimes I don't even like, I can hear what they're talking about, but like sometimes I'm just watching body language and I'm just seeing all this stuff go on around. And yeah, you're right. There are signs. That's why I wrote the medium is the message. There are signs where you can see stuff like that. I like what you said about if you get that vibe from your girlfriend right before spring break, well, you have your answer right there. And that's one of the reasons why I've always told guys, especially if you have women who are going to be your plates, keep them at arm's distance. Don't catch feelings for them. Keep them at arm's distance. Let them qualify themselves to you. If she wants to shine and she wants to be the only one, she'll let you know that she wants to be the only one, because there's a quantifiable, qualifiable difference between a man that a woman admires and that a man that a woman is just kind of sitting there tolerating because she wasn't able to, you know, capitalize on her
exactly. She will make you a burrito while you're podcasting with your buddies. That's real love, man.
Shout out to Copper Penny with the $55 super chat. Says 5,500 pennies from heaven. Bless the Redman group. I appreciate that. Steve, and listen, Copper Penny, I think you've contributed something like $75 today. So special thanks to you. Steve, what are your thoughts on the 4-month strategy, right? Start dating a girl in October, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all of a sudden now you're obliged to buy her a Valentine's Day gift. Why do men continue to fall for this, and how can men avoid this? How can we parry this gambit that women have been pulling on men for the last, 2-3 decades?
Well, I kind of want to take a swing of a different pendulum, because there's something that a lot of guys we haven't talked about that I want to discuss with the guys out there. Is that first off, I want to say February 15th, I want to give a shout out to Side Chick Day, because side chicks need their day, so we can shout out to them. But anyway, the thing is, what we haven't talked about, and I think a lot of guys out there don't know. Y'all don't understand that this season, y'all don't know about Steve Day, the holiday of Steve Day. Because and you got Rollo Day, you got Ryan Day, and you got Carl Day, and you got Donovan Day. And it's like we got dick and bubble gum, but we all out of bubble gum. And this is what I mean. Have you guys out there, have you ever been over a woman's house? You ever see that rose, that wilted flower or something that she keeps in her diary or pinned up on her wall or something? It's because of Steve Day. And what y'all guys understand is, on the other side of the pendulum, the success thing is, as a man, y'all understand we cut women off. You don't understand how many women call to want to, like, I know what you're saying, Ryan, about how you don't want to take a woman to take you out. But what I'm saying is that y'all don't understand when you get a lot of phone calls from women who want to take you out, who want to cook for you, who want to wear lingerie. And it seems like it's a bunch of characteristics that I always say that when you do what we're showing you and you see the big picture, and you focus on yourself, and you set a vision, and you have direction. These are some of the things that trigger women to want to do for you, because they are not used to real men. A man is like Bigfoot, Smurfs, and unicorns. It's very rare that a woman sees a man, but when she sees a man, it is something in her. And I go back to nature. You know, nature's nature. Nature doesn't Facebook, tweet, or have Instagram. It's just nature. And the thing about nature is, in women, is that when you display certain qualities, when you communicate with transparency, when you send clear messages, when you're unpredictable, when you act decisively, when you take risks, when you're fearless, when you exude passion, honesty, dependability, when you lead by example and set clear expectations, then all of a sudden she's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Forget about the gifts, forget about the dates, forget about the flowers and the trinkets. What do I do to get his time? What can I do to get his attention? What can I do to be a part of his life? You see, I think a lot of guys out there, because I don't want them all depressed thinking that, oh man, we don't win, because everybody on this panel wins, even the cute dog that Ryan had. That dog, you're with it, Ryan, dog. You're a dog, man. But I'm just saying that you as a man, you win. And some of the problems that you're gonna have from Sucker Me season is, starting on Thanksgiving, You're gonna get a call. I want you to meet my parents, or can I come over for Thanksgiving with you? Can I spend time with you to Christmas? Can I help you put up your Christmas lights? Can I spend time with you on Christmas? Can you go away for Christmas? Goes into Valentine's Day. Can you know? And again, I don't agree with men getting roses and stuff from women. I don't agree with that. But they do that stuff. They buy you jewelry. They buy you clothes. They buy you things that they think you like because they want to do for you. So even though there is a sucker me season on one end of the spectrum, Donovan, there is another side of this where as a man, you got to realize, why don't you have a girlfriend around October? Because you cut them off. Because you don't want to deal with all the BS of these women. Oh, I'm on my period, and I don't see why you don't want to talk to me. And why don't you like me? Oh, you're seeing somebody else, you know. So I just wanted to say, to swing it a little bit to show these guys that yes, once you get this pill and once you realize your power, man, them women are going to be beat. It's like an Axe Spray commercial in real life. I know that sounds crazy.
Oh, I love it. But right.
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, listen. Jules being dropped by Steve. Wah, you haven't bought me flowers in a while. Well, that's because you haven't given me reason. 914-205-5356 is the number to call. We're going to open up the phone lines. Area code 860. You're going to lead us off. 514, then 20, and then 203 respectively. If you're outside the U.S., it is 001-914-205-5356. Super chat questions get first priority. Phone calls get second priority. So keep that in mind when you call. Try to be patient, and we will get to as many of you guys as we possibly can. Area code 860. You're on live with the Redman Group. Thanks for holding, and you go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hi.
Oh wow, that is so freaking cool. Hey, hi guys, how are you doing?
Good.
I don't know where to start. I've been with this lady for 14 years. I'm from the hood. I never wanted to be in the hood, but I was born here. I ain't have a fucking choice. And she met me, and I wanted to get out of it. So she, you know, I wanted to get out of it. She wanted me to get out of it. I got out of it. I changed my life around. Meanwhile, I don't mess with the hood at all. But she keep finding her way back there to like get her nails done or go shopping and shit. But we live in a nice neighborhood, and I keep putting my foot down. Like, I was nice at first. Stop going to that side of town, babe, because I don't want to get in a position where I gotta take somebody's head off and then I'm in jail. You know what I'm saying? So after a while, I keep finding her doing it. Now I'm not asking her. I'm telling you, stop fucking going that side of town. And then she did it again, and I'm just like, I ain't been messing with her for like the last few days. I'm like, I'm ready to walk away, even though I do recognize the good that she do contribute. But I don't know. It's like she like danger or something, man. I'm not with it. I'm about to be 40. I'm trying to go a different route. So
man, you got your boundary. All you can do is enforce it. She decided. You gave her a choice. You can be with me and respect my boundary, or you cannot. She made her choice. You made yours. Don't even look back, man.
Steve,
it's up to her now to claw her way back into your life.
Steve, I see you shaking your head.
Yeah.
We'll get
man, look, man. What you're saying it wrong again. I say this with love. I'm all about accountability and be accountable for your own actions. She's not doing it, man. You're allowing her to do it. So what I'm saying is get your balls out of her purse and get your spine. Because let me tell you something. The difference between you and her job is that her job will tell her what to do and she will do it. The unfortunate thing is you won't do it because you put her above you. When you say something, it needs to come from the thunder of Mount Olympus, and she needs to understand that. And if she can't understand that, you got to give her walking papers. But what you're doing is rewarding her bad behavior by showing her it's okay. So don't be the victim here. Don't say it's her doing all this stuff. Why don't you change your voice up and say, I'm allowing her to do that to me. Get it correct. Get her out of your life if she can't run by you, man.
Solid. Rollo, go. I think you're muted.
Sorry, I was muted. The medium is the message. She's just like what Ryan was just saying. She's already showing you all kinds of different signs as to like where it is she wants to go. There's a couple things going on here. First off, you need to demonstrate and do not explicate. I don't believe in giving ultimatums. I don't believe in guys like open communication solves every problem, right? I don't believe that. Okay, what I believe is that the only thing that really conveys your message is your behavior. So if that is not acceptable behavior, then you need to find some way to eliminate her from your life. And if she decides that she wants to come back around, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Then you can take that into account. But remember, it's what is her behavior telling you? Now that's the first part. The second part is like, I get what you're saying, because I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this chick is probably a bit younger than you. And she's probably still in that phase where she's looking for that danger. She wants the roller coaster, but women want a roller coaster because they want that danger. They want to know that a situation is inherently unsafe. They want to know that there's danger right around the corner. They want to know that the car is going to go out of control any moment, but that there are people behind the scenes that are going to make it safe for her. Like the parachute's going to deploy right at the last minute, right? Or like she's not going to actually get in the car crash at the last second. She's going to swerve out of the way and things are going to be okay for her. And I think that's one thing guys really don't understand about female natures. They want that danger. That's why it's one of the reasons why women fall in love with guys who are ex-cons or who are or maybe they're actually convicted murderers in prison, because it gets them close to that danger. But he's behind bars, so he's still kind of technically safe, right? So it's like, I'm in love with this really super alpha male, and it's too bad that he had to kill like 5 people, but that's the way it is. And so she's still in love with the guy, but she's at a distance, right? So that's why you get guys who are like these serial killers, or hell, even these school shooters. They'll have a fan club of women that prop up, Nicholas Cruz, props right up afterwards. Well, why is that? Because suddenly that guy demonstrated higher value. And I hate to say this, but like killing other people back in our evolutionary past was a demonstration of higher value. That was a guy who would go all the way to protect himself, and women believe by proxy that it would also extend to them and their offspring, and that's what gets them off. That's why women love violence, but they can't say that they like violence. Because they still have to. They have to say the right thing. They still have to be. It turns them on, but they don't want to say that it turns them on, because it's an evolutionary. It's almost an instinctual thing. So I think what you're dealing with here is a woman who hasn't decided that she wants to be more in, like I said, the security phase as opposed to like the alpha danger phase.
Yo, we have a new, well said there, Rollo. We have a new record for Super Chat. $55. Red Pill Vegan with the $100 Super Chat. That is 7,000 Super Chats. Says, never back down. Thank you all. Thank you very much to Red Pill Vegan with the $100 Super Chat. Dude, you make Super Chats like that, we might actually have to name the Super Chat after you.
Red Pill Vegan.
We got a little bit of ways to go there, but we'll see how this goes. Carl, jump in here. What do you think about this dude's situation? He's been with this girl for 14 years. He met her in the hood. She met him in the hood, but she keeps going back to the hood. What's going on here?
Well, she obviously liked guys from the hood, but I want to go a little bit more general here. But yeah, she likes that thug dick. He's code word.
Say it, but I can't.
Listen. Yeah, Ryan already got on me about getting him banned last week on our After Hours show, so I'm not going to go too far here. But for me, it's about 3 things. It's boundaries, incentives, and punishment. Because if you create a boundary for a woman and she crosses it, and you reward her for it, or you don't punish her for it, she's going to keep doing it, because you're creating an incentive for her to act out of pocket to steal Donovan's turn. Now, if you create a boundary, she crosses it, and she doesn't hear from you for 5 days, or you demote her to a plate, or you do something that she doesn't like, then she'll correct her behavior herself. If you tell her that if you keep crossing this boundary, I'm going to go sleep with someone else, that's not going to work, because that's beta. That's playing into it, and it's telling her explicitly. If you create a boundary, she doesn't follow it, and you text her from the club you're at with the girl you're at, and you're like, I'm going to take this girl home now. that's going to straighten her behavior out faster than anything else. So you just want to make sure that when you build a boundary, you need to have an incentive for her to follow it, and you need to have a punishment if she doesn't. And that goes to the operant conditioning model.
Okay, well said, Carl. I'm going to actually bounce off of what Steve said. The thing is this, guys, and Rollo is 100% right. You demonstrate, don't explicate. And your employer is the perfect example. You know that if you no call, no show, guess what's going to happen? You're fired. You know that if you are late consistently to work, you're fired. Okay. You know that if you perform poorly at your job consistently, you are fired. They don't have to tell you that. You already know. How do you know? Because it is demonstrated all around you. Now, they do a little bit of explicating within the company packet, but they don't have to have you sign the company packet that says, hey, look, if you suck at your job consistently, if you're consistently late, if you start up drama, then you're going to lose your job. You need to think of that. You need to think of the job situation like you're thinking about your woman. If someone is consistently late to work and they tell you, hey, you know what, Donovan, the next time you come to work, you're going to be fired, and you come to work the next day late and they don't fire you, guess what I'm going to think? Well, I guess I can just continue to come to work late. Just like Rollo says, demonstrate, don't explicate. Treat your woman like she is an employee. This is how this works. If you listen, your job performance or your employment is contingent on your job performance. If you don't follow the rules, you get out. It really is as simple as that. You don't have to tell her. So the next time she comes home from the hood, have her shit right out there on the front porch. You don't have to say shit, and she'll know exactly why. Here's another thing, caller, I think is Azariah. She met you in the hood, right? What happened was when you left the hood, you got soft for 14 years. Well, guess what, bruh? She's looking for that hardcore hood nigga. That's what this is. You used to be that hood nigga. You're not that hood nigga anymore. So now she wants another version of you 14 years ago. Where do you think she's going to find that? At the local YMCA? No, she's headed to the hood with Durante and Jaquantre and DeAndre, and they're all going to run a train on her. Bruh, listen, you got to nip this in the bud. And I'm going to tell you something here. I don't want to kill your spirit here, but if your woman is already going to the hood after you have told her not to, it's already too late. There is little you can do at this point short of putting her shit out on the lawn that's going to stop that behavior. That's my take. 914-205-5356 is the number to call. Area code 514. Thank you very, very much for holding for 24 minutes, and you go ahead.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
So I hear you a lot of talking about cuffing season for more like older guys, but for us college guys, cuffing
okay,
season
caller,
pretty...
hang on. I'm going to cut you off here. You didn't do anything wrong. Shout out to Conk with another super chat record, $100.01. He says new record. This meat red
winner.
Jeez.
That says that is broken out. We have over $368, $369 in super chats for wine more, please, with the $1 super chat.
Oh!
Shout out to Conk with the $100.01 super chat. So that is now 7,500 Scooby Snacks. Caller, sorry for the interruption. Go ahead.
Yeah, so for us college guys, cuffing season is actually pretty different. It's more like let's say something we do with booty call.
Right.
So like in August, you scout. In September, you draft. In October, you do your tryouts.
Yeah.
And then cuffing season. And after that, you got your playoffs. Left, you eliminate the one that like want to get serious or bad in bed. And then it ended at February 14 when you got like your favorite booty call. And then after that, you just dump it everything and start again.
Good stuff, man. Good call, area code 514. Yeah. He makes a very good point, and I think Carl actually touched on this, and I like how he talked about, you know, the draft and everything like that. I think it's all about opportunity. When you're in warm weather cities like Las Vegas, San Diego, LA, there is a cuffing season, but those girls cheat on their men constantly, right? But when you're up north where there are changes in season and in the weather, I think cuffing season is a little bit different. Steve, you had a thought on the caller before last.
No. I just wanted to say just real quick that what he needed to know is at the end of the day, she's going after his last name and his ring. So she needs to show him why she should be on board. That's all I want to say. But go ahead and continue, brother.
Good stuff. Good stuff. 914-205-5356 is the number to call. Let's go to the next caller, area code 203. You're on live with the Red Man Group. Go ahead.
Hey, gentlemen. Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely.
The first thing thank you. First thing I just want to say thank you. Last summer, I was in a psychiatric hospital.
Wow.
I've been in a 17-year borderline marriage, and finally.
How do you borderline a marriage?
Borderline marriage.
So the girl that you're married to has borderline personality disorder, correct?
My spouse is
okay.
BPD.
Got it. That's awesome.
So I just spent my first Valentine's Day out of the house. And Rollo, I'll just tell you that one of the first things they teach you in the hospital is to make yourself a priority. And as soon as I got out of the hospital, I found your work and started listening to all of you guys. So, thank you all. That's the first thing I want.
I'm glad you could benefit.
Yeah, thank you. Secondly, I'm sitting here now in absolutely no rush, understandably, to get involved with anybody. I got to get out of this relationship first. But I'm consuming content. I'm listening to all of these things. I'm learning a lot about hypergamy. I just learned about Carl's calendar, which was fascinating stuff. And it's a lot of information, but you take it all in, and the end result of it seems to be, why the hell does anybody want to expose themselves to this? I mean, now, granted, I'm coming off of a complex post-traumatic stress experience, believe me. So I'm a little bit perhaps more influenced by it. But even just the information itself, I mean, it's a shit show out there.
Yeah.
And I got the next 40 years of my life that I got to figure out. And I've got two sons who I want to provide a good example, which is why I had to get the hell out of here in the first place, because I don't want them making the same mistakes. So I don't have a specific question, but I'm finding it hard to understand how I'm actually going to go out and apply this, all of this content.
Okay, Steve, what you got on this, man?
First off, I want to say, hey, we got love for you, man, and keep your head up. But the way you go apply it is 1 foot forward, my brother. And what's very important to understand this is that it is a lot of content, but what you have to understand, there are different kind of people out there. There are those who make things happen, those who wonder why things happen, and those who just ask questions. And the thing is for a lot of men out there who are not aware, they have what I call world is flat thinking. They can't see beyond that line. So what we say to young men like you is, you've got to trust the narrative, trust these guys to know that they are looking out for your best interest. But the only way it's going to work is that you yourself have to have the passion, drive, and desire to move forward. And the last thing I always want to say, and I always say this to guys, is that I know it's a cliche thing saying that you're a winner. And I know you're like, dude, I've heard that a million times, whatever. But no, let me just tell you something real quick to show you that you have the drive, the passion, and desire. When you were born, okay, when your daddy met your mommy, and I don't want to get into sex ed 101, but when dad hooked up with mom, you had what I call the great race between you and millions of your brothers and sisters to reach the egg. And you were the one that reached the egg because you did have the passion, you did have the drive, you did have the desire to get there, man. And you can still do that. But what you got to do is, don't worry about can I or can't I. Just listen to Ryan, listen to Carl, listen to Rollo. Take their information and go. Bless you, brother.
Bless
Take
you.
their information. I got you, man. Take the information and take just one step forward. I know sometimes the fear of success is the worst thing because it's unfamiliar territory. But the thing about this group is it's a support system. And one thing we want to let you know is we're always going to be here for you to pick you up when you fall. But as a man, you're going to fall. And that's the truth. It's what you do when you get your ass up, okay? That's all I want to say to you, man.
Okay, we got a couple of super chats to get to, but the first one, we got a question from Red Pill Vegan, who set the record for the super chat, which lasted all of 6 minutes with the $100 super chat. Red Pill Vegan says, quote, "What if you miss an opportunity to draw a boundary the first time it is crossed? Like, for instance, if it occurs subtly and you don't realize it until after she has left. Correct hard and fast next time? Rollo, what do you think?
I think first of all, you have to understand that you don't get a second chance to make a first impression, right? I mean, you don't get to. You got to understand that your predominant personality of like what a woman expects from you is built in layers. Okay, like when you're first meeting a woman, you're a mystery to her. You should be at least a challenge to her that she has to sort of unfold and unravel, right? And then there comes a point where she figures out that she's got you figured out, or she thinks like what you're all about, and that's when she decides whether she wants to be emotionally invested in you, or she's just going to just kind of be kind of lackluster about you. But there are subtle ways. There's a lot of nuance to this, I should say, is that if you miss that opportunity, you have to understand, you have to realize that you are missing that opportunity first. I think a lot of guys don't really realize that because of their niceness, because of the way that because of their blue pill conditioning, but because of what they believe a woman is entitled to and what is expected from them, they start to behave in a certain way. And then that layers on this impression on that woman until she gets a predominant idea of what your personality is like. We've talked about this before when it comes to vulnerability. Like when I was talking about a guy who is predominantly alpha, and that is his nature, and he thinks about himself first, and he still is very protective of his woman. He's still very protective of his kids. If he has kids with her, he's still that guy, but he's alpha, but he still has parts of him that I mean, it's not necessarily beta to be protective or provisioning per se for your family or for a woman. It's just in how you go about doing that, right? If I believe all the time that it is my duty as a guy to provide all of this stuff for women with like 0% authority, and it's like 100% responsibility and 0% authority. If a woman sees that, she's going to make different demands on you than if you say, look, I am the authority and I am the law in this relationship, and I'm the primary in this relationship, and I have headship in this relationship, and I have authority in this relationship. If she defers to your authority, that is a different attitude or a different atmosphere, I guess, for your relationship than if it's the other way around. So if a woman is looking up to you, if she's admiring you, if she's following your lead, then you might be able to slip. You might be able to drop the ball a few times and still recover for that. Like I said, that sometimes if your predominant nature is alpha and you show a little bit of beta, then that's endearing to a woman. But if your predominant nature is beta and then you show a little bit of alpha, or you try to man up and like try to be somebody that you're not, right? It's like it seems not authentic to that woman. And so if you missed enough of these opportunities, understand that is going to build up what her preconception of your personality is really like. So you become controllable, you become predictable, you become somebody that she can just decide that, well, he's just going to act like this anyway, so I'm just going to go do whatever the hell I want. Yeah, so she's going, if she sees a lack of authority on your part, power abhors a vacuum, and particularly for women, because women want to have that aspect of life sort of taken care of for them. They want to find that direction. They want that masculine dominance. But if you don't give that to them, then they feel like they have to step into that role, and then you become another child. You become like somebody that's lesser than she is. And if you're lesser than she is, she's going to start looking for somebody who is more than she is. And so again, this happens over the course of a relationship where you're just layering this on. Like it's the things like, I think Carl has talked about this as like the death by 1,000 paper cuts, or it's beta by 1,000 paper cuts. It's like you don't realize that you're doing it until suddenly, 6 years into your relationship, you realize, wow, my wife really thinks of me as like sort of this beta chump. Right. And then what do? You try to make a hard alpha turn. And then by doing so, it seems like you're pouting. It seems like you're trying to be somebody you're not. It seems to be like she's like, oh, he's just doing that because he's, he wants to pretend like he's in control, and he's really not in control. And so it's not believable. Women don't find that authentic in you if you decide to make your nature something else. Like, I think really probably the same thing would happen if your nature was predominantly alpha, and then you went hard beta. Your wife or your girlfriend would think, what's wrong with this guy? What happened to him? He used to be so alpha and so in control, and now he's this big blubbering pussy, right? And so she's turned off by that. And the same thing happens when a guy is predominantly beta and he turns alpha, and he gets all angry. He's almost like this little bitch that gets angry at something because he's trying to prove a point and he's trying to turn himself around. That's why it's a gradual, like when guys are in a relationship, when they're in a sexless relationship, the first thing I tell guys, I say, just pretend that you are broken up with your girlfriend, and what would you do for yourself if you were broken up with your wife or you're broken up with your girlfriend? Do that, because you need to make the changes that you make in your life to be about you and not about trying to find some way or some formula to placate to her to get her to come around. She needs to be somebody that's worth coming around, and you need to be somebody different, and then you can decide whether she's somebody that the different you really wants to be a part of in the first place.
Okay, let me let's hit the reverse. Let's throw this thing in reverse and go back to the last caller who was in the BPD marriage for 17 years. Carl, you had something for the guy who was married to a woman who had borderline personality disorder.
Well, I was just going to give him kind of my 3 steps I always give guys who come out of long-term BPD relationships. He has 2 sons, so the first step is probably not feasible, but it's no contact. Just cut the bitch off. Yes. If she keeps blowing up your phone, get a new fucking phone. If she blows up your email, burn your email. Just
ghost on that ass.
Call a fool.
No,
man.
but it's not ghosting. It's just burn every way she has of contacting you. Or if you have sons and you're raising them with her, be very, very clear with her that she can only contact you about parental decisions, and hang up on the bitch the second she goes out of line. So she can call you and be like, hey, I'm going to be delivering the kids at 2 instead of 3 today. That's fine. If she goes anywhere beyond that, just hang up on her. Number 2 is build a new support system. And that's just what Steve said. You need actually to have people around you to help you out when you're feeling weak, because BPD is one hell of a drug. Once you've been on that cycle, it's harder to quit than cocaine. And number 3 is analyze and improve. You just have to figure out, why did you get into this relationship in the first place? What kept you there? And how can you prevent yourself from ever getting into a situation like that again? Now, I developed what I call the crazy cunt whispering technique after I got out of my marriage. And it's basically, there's a red flag that blows off in my head the second I get any sort of whiff of a girl being crazy. And at that point, it's, okay, she's hot, but if we're going back to someone's place, we're going back to her place, because I don't want this bitch to know where I live.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. Listen, well said there by Carl. I think somebody needs to cut that out and put that on the Best of the Red Man group. Got a $2 super chat from Wine More Please. Says, why aren't we telling caller or callers to find better women? Ryan, I think this is your boyfriend on the side.
Yeah, he has. I call him the single best frame in the manosphere. He's another one of the moderators at the Married Red Pill, and he brought up an awesome question. And I'm going to tie up all 3 of those last callers in a nice little bow here.
Let's do it.
So I'm saying this with love, guys. Hoodman, learn to enforce your boundaries. Why didn't he get a better woman? Because if he got a better woman, he'd be making the same dumb mistake he's with her.
Oh, I'm bowing. Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's a Mott and Bailey, man. I'm telling him to enforce his boundaries. Now, if he's half-ass good at it, he's going to learn that she's just a hood rat and he needs to ditch her ass and find a better woman. But I can't tell him that, because he'll just get mad at me and bring up all that crap that she made him a sandwich 12 years ago.
Oh, my gosh.
So I hate to say this, but you got to kind of dance around the issue, because a guy's ego is a powerful villain in a guy's life. He's not on the same team as the man. And so when I say this, I take him on this path, and he learns himself that he needs to ditch her ass. Same thing as the guy talking about, why do I bother? How do I implement this? The BPD wife.
Yeah.
Same thing. Why do I bother? How do I implement this? Have a direction. If you don't have a direction to go on, then you're not going to have any idea whether what you're doing is right or wrong. And it doesn't have to be, and it's not like a rule book. You're asking, what are the rules? Well, you're not looking for a rule book. You're playing Calvin Ball. You guys remember Calvin Ball from Calvin and Hobbes?
Yeah.
It's your game. You make up the rules whenever you want to. If you don't like that rule, make it up again. And that's for the third guy when he's talking about how do I enforce a boundary when I forgot to do it the first time. Don't. It's your boundary, so it's your boundary. Send her off, wish her well, thank her for teaching you that you're not going to screw this up with the next girl. If she flaunts your boundaries, thank her for showing that you have teeth when you need to. Wish her well and don't screw it up with the next girl. There is no rule book to this. The rule is you have what you want, you have your boundaries and your mission, and you enforce them. If you forgot to tell her up front, well, that's your fault. Wish her well, kick yourself in the ass and get back to work. Like it's not difficult. Like it's simple but not easy, I guess is the best way to describe it. And that's why I say the best red pill quality to have is resolve. If you're not willing to burn this shit to the ground to make your point, then you really don't have a boundary. You're just whining about not getting what you want to.
All right, Carl, jump in there. You had something else? Carl, you there?
No, I had something on the thing with how can you prevent your wife, girl from cheating? Because this goes right into what Ryan was saying. Because it's no, you can never prevent another person from doing something you don't like. If your girl is desperate to be on an episode of Blacks on Blondes, you can't stop her from doing it. But when you see the fucking clip on YouPorn, you can dump her ass.
There you go. There you go. Listen, this is a question that I often get. Everyone knows that I famously have spy software on Devin's phone. I see who she texts, what she texts, websites, where she is, the location. And so the answer to the question, can you prevent your wife or girl from cheating? Of course not. If a woman wants to cheat, she is going to cheat. Well, Donovan, then why do you take all of these measures to prevent your girlfriend from cheating? I'm not taking these measures to prevent my girlfriend from cheating. What I am doing with my strategy is I make the cheating part the more difficult thing, right? I'm under no impression that Devin doesn't see guys in her everyday life that she'd like to fuck. This is just how it is. Devin's a good-looking girl. There are good-looking guys out there. She wants to fuck good-looking guys. I get it, right? But if she really, really wants to put our relationship in jeopardy, if she really wants to cheat, she's going to really have to work at it. The thing is most women cheat very easily. All they got to do is tell one lie, explain away an hour and a half absence, and they're good to go. Devin can't do that, right? That doesn't mean she can't still cheat, but if she decides to cheat, she's going to have to jump through a lot of hoops. So now she has a choice to make. Do I jump through these hoops to try to cheat on Donovan? Because, listen, Devin could cheat, right? It's the getting away with it clean part that trips most women up. So now she has a decision to make. Do I cheat on Donovan and jump through all the hoops and try to keep the relationship? Or do I do the easier thing and just tell him, look, Donovan, I'm not sexually attracted to you anymore. Your cock, listen, you have a 16-inch cock. It's way too big. I can't take it anymore. I need a smaller, whatever her stupid reason is, that's the decision that she's going to take. And then I would get the question, well, Donovan, how do you know that she would do that? Because 9 times out of 10, women do what's easier. You make cheating as difficult as possible so that she does the easy thing and tells you that she's just not attracted to you anymore. Now, will that happen? I don't know. Maybe she'll cheat on me and try to get away with it. But the point is you cannot prevent a woman from cheating on you. You can be Donovan fucking Sharpe and know everything she's doing on her phone 24 hours a day. She could still pull it off. That's all there is to it. We got another super chat question from Superman. $2 question. I'd like Steve to answer this. How do we be friends with women?
What was that? I'm sorry. That's that. Wait, is he talking Klingon? I don't know what you're talking about. Women friends. Let me tell y'all guys something. I have women associates, but I will never ever have a woman friend. I don't even know what that is, man. You better off asking me how I can get Rollo's glasses than have me try to figure out a woman friend, man. I don't know how that even works, man.
Rollo's got something on this, but here's what I'll say. I am never, there are only 3 conditions where I associate with women outside of work. I want to fuck her, I am fucking her, or I have fucked her. That's it. She's not my friend. Women are a set of holes to me. That's it. Do not become friends with women. You will not benefit from that relationship.
Well, Don, real quick, after we smash, we can talk about your day at work, and we can talk about Fred and Mr. Slade. Absolutely. We can talk about all that.
Bruh, never feed them before you fuck them, right? Yeah, listen. When you come over to my house before I smash, I'm not giving you shit. You want some water, like some apple juice? But if I smash, all right, now I'm gonna whip you up a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and send you on your way. Never feed her before you fuck her. Rollo, what you got?
I was gonna say this should be, and thank you for this one, because I really think this ought to be a topic either for the Redman group, like for a dedicated show, or actually maybe for like Red Pill 101 with me and Pat. I've said this on many an occasion, is that women have boyfriends and girlfriends, and if you're not fucking her, you are her girlfriend.
Oh,
that's it. That is the and you're having the response that everybody always has when I say that. It sounds outrageous, but it's actually true. And I'll tell you why it's true, is because when we look at issues of friendship, we tend to have, what do we have? Friends. We have friends that are our same sex, and we have our opposite sex friends. We like to think that they're friends, right? But the problem is that what men and women do is they tend to think of friendships, or they define friendships based on their same-sex friendships. So when I say that if you're not fucking her, you are her girlfriend, I mean that literally, because women only relate friendships as from an intrasexual definition. So if you are giving off all of these friend vibes, if you are like saying, oh, we're such good friends, or if you actually bought into the let's just be friends rejection, if you bought into that, she is going to treat you as if you are one of her girlfriends, because women, first of all, they're not raised to actually think of friendships in a different light, like in a male friendship versus a female friendship. And women will listen to this and they'll go, what the hell is she talking about? Well, the thing is women will be using their definition for friendship based on their girlfriends, on how they interrelate with their girlfriends. So what they end up doing is they end up turning these guys into their girlfriends. So it's no longer about like, well, what do you do with your female friend? We hang out. Okay, well, what does that entail? Does that entail you going and painting your toenails with your girlfriend? What do you do with her that is in any way comparable to what you do with your male friends? Do you go out bowling together? Do you go out fishing with her? Does she share some of the same hobbies as you? Would you be friends with her if you didn't have any sexual interest in her? A lot of guys want to challenge me on this because they say, well, you're just not mature enough to have friends with a girl. Well, I'm saying is that the definition of that friendship is based on different criteria than for what you would have with your same sex, for guys anyways. Like for guys will put up with shit from a female friend that they would get in a fist fight with their buddy with, because he did something or he said something wrong. A woman, you're going to give her that slack, because guys are conditioned to sort of placate to the female nature, whereas women aren't. Women tend to take male friends and turn them into girlfriends, whereas guys have this idea that if they can just prove themselves, that at some point they're going to get in there. If they can prove themselves, like, we need to be best friends before we be in a relationship, right? There is no greater blue pill beta thinking than you need to be friends before you have sex. No, what you're doing is those are guys who are uncomfortable with the attraction or with the arousal phase. Okay, like there is that sexual urgency, that sexual tension. There's that arousal phase when you first meet a girl. Guys, especially blue pill guys, want to move past that because they think that the sex is in the rapport, the sex is in the friendship, the sex is in the comfort and the familiarity, and that is absolutely not where all that is. That is anti-seductive. But they shoot themselves in the foot by moving into that phase and not capitalizing on the urgency and the anxiety and the really the dread that comes along with the arousal phase. And so what do they end up doing? They end up becoming the let's just be friends kind of guy, right? And so you accept that, and now these guys are put into the friend zone, and they think that if they just qualify themselves enough, that they will. I saw it. But if they qualify themselves enough, that they'll get in there. Okay, go ahead, read it. I know you're.
Okay. So Copper Penny, right? Just away from the last.
Damn, dude.
$100.01. Shout out to.
I promise we'll put it to good use.
The $125 super chat, gentlemen. That officially puts us over the $500 mark on super chats, and most of which has come from Copper Penny. Wow. We're gonna have to listen. Copper Penny, I think
you're gonna give him my seat.
Yeah, listen. I mean, like take my seat. Copper Penny is now going to be known as Silver Dollar. Like, you can't go by Copper Penny. Copper Penny with $125. With the $125 super chat, I think Copper Penny has contributed somewhere in the neighborhood of $250 in super chat this afternoon. That is unbelievable. Wow. Unbelievable. Real quick, I'm going to read off these other super chats. Freelance Runner with the $5 super chats says, always put yourself first, gentlemen. You have to wake up with you in the AM. As Raya 23 says, thank you guys. I appreciate the explanation and clarification. That was the guy whose girl kept going back to the hood. Superman says, with the $2 super chat, says, is Red Man and other men's movements going to blow up? Already happened, bruh. Already happened. Unbelievable. Guys, this was a dynamite show. This has been episode 54 of the Red Man Group. Once again, if you want to support the Red Man Group, become a patron at patreon.com/Red Man Group. You can get exclusive access to private Q&A streams for around 30 cents a day. Buy tactical soap. Fuck a lot of bitches. The 21 Convention Patriarch Edition is coming up in May. Be sure to get your tickets at the21convention.org/Patriarch. I'm going to let everybody have the last word. Pitch your stuff. Carl, you're up.
Oh, you caught me off guard there. I wasn't planning.
No way.
Oh, Rob.
So, Rob.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay,
Oh,
now we have to keep the show going for another like 15 minutes.
Rollo. Oh, we got you, Rollo.
That's gonna pay for my flight out to Florida for the, for the convention.
So the Red Man Group is now called the Rob Cruz Show, the Rob Cruz $4 Show. Shout out to Rob Cruz with the record $300.
Whoa.
I'm writing that down.
This is unbelievable.
Rob Cruz, $300.
This puts us over. This puts us over $800 in super chat. That is unbelievable.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. He said, listen, he says, what now? I don't listen.
You said, what now? What?
You got it.
No. Jeez.
You can also support the show.
I should say you are giving us support when we really appreciate it.
Here we are, one for $300.01. Oh my God. Buy tactical soap again, the 21convention.org. Carl, any last words? Holy moly.
Yeah, I was going to say that we should probably change our channel sponsor from Tactical Soap to Rob Cruz.
Yes.
Jeez, I know, right? For that, this episode 54, sponsored by Rob Cruz.
Yeah, well, the Tactical Soap is looking really washed up.
Yeah, it kind of.
Nah.
I love it. Listen, I'm here for the cheesy jokes. I love it. Devin tells them all the time. It's crazy. She tells the, what time is your dentist appointment? 2:30, right? She likes that. Ryan, go.
Oh, geez, I don't know where to end other than for the Patreon guys. Time's up in the description. Check your Patreon posts. Some new guy was asking how he contributes to it. Just follow the link there. You'll get onto the YouTube channel. Then you can live chat with me and Carl. We're going to talk some Red Pill game, deal with a lot of this stuff here. It's going to be a blast. And then one of the guys in the chat here, he was like, I could tell these guys are poor by how much they're dancing around and happy over $100.
Hey, man, you know what the average super chat is for most of these things?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not that. I think it deserves a better answer than just like fuck off. But like, you got to remember, these guys, like, they earn this money. They spend time to earn it. And it's kind of humbling when somebody's saying, I'm taking an hour or 3 hours out of my workday and giving not only your attention and your time to us by watching this, but the time and attention you put into your labor to give it to us as support. It's a really humbling thing. Like, there is no better, like, put your money where your mouth is than that. And so I just treat it as I don't know. I've never been fluffed by a guy before, and it kind of gets me all teary-eyed.
Cool. But see, listen, you won't say it, so I will. Quinn Mulla, go fuck yourself. You're hidden on this channel. Fuck you.
Well, I mean, think about it this way, though. It's like, you guys are just getting off over a $300 super chat. Okay, well, that's great, but you know what? Like, and then in the same breath, they'll be like, oh, who would spend $1,000 to go to the 21 convention? You know, it's like,
you see?
I did.
Yeah, who would, right? Yeah,
exactly. Steve, what you got? Last words, man.
Wow, man, I love being on with y'all guys, and this is a very hot show. And I just want to give a shout out to the chat room guys. We really love you guys, and we love the fact that, like Ryan was saying, man, it's just really feels good when y'all show us the love, and it doesn't have to be through money. It's just that it's just y'all are just one-upping each other, and it's just a funny feeling, man. I love this. But anyway, guys, y'all get a chance, come to themanmindset.com, guys. We got a free dating chat line already set up with women on there to practice talking to women. We've got live radio shows. I got cooking shows. I do everything I can to possibly give y'all everything y'all can as a man. But again, I just want to say thank you to these guys on the panel, because let me tell you guys something. It's not every day you get around a group of men that really, really look for your best interest in as a man myself, I'm honored and privileged to be around such great men. I just want to say that. Thank you.
Excellent. Well said. Rollo.
I was just going to say a couple things, couple announcements anyways. Gosh, I'm getting an echo now. I was going to say is I have tomorrow, I'm doing Red Pill 101 with Pat Campbell. I think we're going to delve into the medium is the message. So if that's your thing, if you want to know more about like the non-verbal communications and women's behavior sets, kind of like what we've been talking about today, I think we're going to dig into that a little bit. I'm really loving that show because we just get right. It's only an hour long, and so that kind of forces us to be like really laser focused on what we're talking about. I am going to do the Religion and Red Pill show. I've decided I'm going to end up doing it. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to do that on Sunday, so it'll be Sunday sermons.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to end up doing that after, like probably a couple hours, maybe 3 hours after Red Pill 101, just so I can sort of reset a little bit. I haven't decided who I'm going to have on as the as my guest. If I have any guests, I might just go on and just talk about something on my own solo. And so I do have that going on. I may even just do some solo stuff myself, just on my own channel, just for shits and giggles, because I know people have questions, and I might just do another AMA. I think a lot of people like to get into that. But as far as thank you so much for the super chats, and just I think I need to throw this out there as well, is that every time you guys put a super chat on this, or you subscribe to the Patreon for the Red Man group, it goes back into the group. Okay, I think pretty much everybody here has their own jobs, and we all make money in different ways. I do this, and I do what I do as an author because as always, because it's a labor of love. Okay, I mean, I make money in many different ways. It's nice to get a little bit of money off of that too, but I take that and I turn it around so that I can help guys out. I do that because I mean, anybody who knows my history already knows my background with my brother-in-law and really what prompted me to start doing this. I take it and I turn it back into you guys. So if you make an investment in the Red Man group or me or any one of these guys on this panel, it goes back into YouTube. So you're making an investment not only in the group, but you're also making an investment in guys who can't afford to make a $300 super chat. Okay, there's a guy who comes in, he's at $199. I'm still going to answer his question. I'm still going to talk to that guy. So you're paying it forward. That's the beauty of the manosphere, is it's like it's decentralized and it's guys helping out other guys, and this is how we do it.
Excellent. You guys can all just go to donovansharpe.com for all of my content. Patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe is where you can become a patron. This week I have a really good week of shows. I think I've got Ryan coming on Tuesday. I've got Kevin Samuels coming on Wednesday. Thursday I usually have Steve on. I might have to push that show either up to tomorrow or Friday, because I will have Roosh on my show this coming Thursday at 5 o'clock.
Are you going to be there this time? I might watch that.
This is the first time I've ever, I don't know, maybe this is the first or second time, I can't remember, but yeah, he's definitely going to be there. We're going to talk about all kinds of things. Listen, we're going to talk about, some of the criticisms that he's taken from some of the guys on the Red Man group panel. But, to me, listen, man, I've had a good relationship with Roosh for years. He's a good guy. I actually cut my teeth in the manosphere writing for Return of Kings. So it'd be good to finally, have Roosh on the show.
If he blows you out, I'll be available.
No, dude. Me and Roosh and I, we're totally cool.
Hey, you guys worked on Return of Kings together, didn't you?
Yeah, listen, he was that dude. Donovan Sharpe is where Return of Kings is where Donovan Sharpe was created. I used to go by Sharpshooter. I use this this logo down here, and he wanted us to change our names to a first and a last name so that we could be taken a little more seriously. So I was like, okay, well, I need to keep the name Sharpe in it, but I need a 3-syllable name to really drive home Sharpe, So I thought Donovan Sharpe, and that's how I came up with that name. So yeah, I'm gonna have Roosh on the show on Thursday. Should be a good one. It's gonna be from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, again, download the Donovan Sharpe mobile app. Again, it's not available to the public. It's available for patrons only. That's going to do it for this edition of the Red Man Group, episode 54. Shout out to all of the super chatters. Dude, Rob Cruz, Copper Penny, Red Pill Vegan, all of you guys that set records. Like I said, we are up over $800 in super chat. Again, support everyone here on the panel. And that's it.
Thank you. Let us stop.